It's time for our daily dose of cope. And here we have customer service Leopard saying to all the non-wealthy Trump fans, and actually I'm just going to say to all the Trump fans, your face is very important to us and we will get around to eating it as soon as we can. There is so much going on in the world today. And I really hope that all of the people that voted for this are having a terrible Friday. I'm really hoping for the worst for you today if you voted for this mess. Less than a year ago, Trump made this post saying, "Who is negotiating for us in the Middle East? Bombs are dropping all over the place. Sleepy Joe is sleeping on a beach in California, viciously exiled by the Democrats. And Comrade Kamala is doing a campaign bus tour with Tampon Tim, her really bad VP pick. Let's not have World War III because that's where we're heading." And he said this so that he could get himself elected. Well, he went off and got himself elected. And look where we are. Ukraine and Russia are still at war. And now Israel and Iran are at war as well. And where is Donald Trump? Trump, or Generalissimo Big Mac, is awaiting for his big butt fluffing parade. He's about to have a parade for himself while states that went for him, that were storm ravaged, that saw loss of life, are still struggling to clean up after the storm. But he is using money in the military to applaud him like the dictator that he is. That is where they are. So his voters voted for this. They voted for a dictator in chief to come in and do some applause for him. And where are Arab and Muslim MAGA? Where are they? Because they surely did vote for Trump despite the fact that he did the Muslim ban in his first term. They still went ahead and backed him. So Eric Garcia put out this post yesterday saying, "Arab Americans in Dearborn who backed Trump are devastated by his travel ban. This is the reward to the community that defied everybody else," as Wali Altahif, a local activist, that said, "No, we're going to support you, we're going to vote for you." And then he gives us an article. I'm going to get to that article. But first, this content creator named Noor Zadan says, "Hey Kamala, Gaza is speaking now," and called her a B word. Gaza is speaking now, B word. So I wonder where Noor is right now, because these people were so like, yay, let's go. We're going to vote for Trump. This is his most recent post. It's about soccer, and that was back in March. And then March 17th, he says, "Shut the whole effing world down and save Gaza," on March 17th. These people were all big and bad when it came to insulting Kamala Harris. Why don't they have that same energy for Trump? Because they were coming for her, but they are quiet as a church mouse pissing on a cotton ball now. Cat got your, leopard got your face? Is that what's happened? Nor? This is how Dearborn broke down. East Dearborn, 44% to Trump, 29% to Stein, 22% to Harris. And then West Dearborn had 45% to Harris, 41% to Trump, 10% to Stein. These protest votes, that certainly did it too. So you people that voted your conscience and voted for Stein, I hope that you're asking her some questions, or where is she? Because some people call her the cicada of politics. She only pops in every 4 years to collect some money and collect a handful of votes, and then she goes back into a tree or something. Here's the Raw Story article. This is the reward. Arab MAGA voters enraged by new Trump travel ban. Countries on the ban list include Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. Trump officials describe it as necessary to protect our citizens from aliens who intend to commit terrorist attacks, threaten our national security, espouse hateful ideology, and otherwise exploit the immigration laws for malevolent purposes. So back in the day, like less than a year ago, Trump was warning of World War III. Back in the day, Arab voters, they were like, yeah, F Kamala, she's a B word. Now look at you, right back where you were during his first administration when he did exactly this. I hope that y'all are happy now. The ban on travel from certain countries that took effect Monday, reminiscent of Trump's first-term restrictions that became known to many as the Muslim ban, is once again souring relationships among Arab American voters in the key battleground state of Michigan, a group that Trump sought to make inroads with during the 2024 election. In particular, the story noted Yemeni Americans from Dearborn were blindsided by that country's inclusion. Wali Al-Tahif, an activist from the area who fights on behalf of Yemeni immigrants, had a blunt response to Trump. This is the reward to the community that defied everybody else, that said, no, we're going to support you, we're going to vote for you. He further blasted the travel ban as selective discrimination and collective punishment. There we have it. Let's keep it moving. The tariffs are still tearing people up. Trump is like, yay, we're collecting so much money from tariffs, where this is making consumers struggle and is jacking up small business owners. But a Trump voter is now hand wringing, like, oh my God, now I'm a Democrat. So this article says small retailers on vacation from hell as they seek clarity on Trump's China tariffs. The stock market has rebounded of late thanks largely to Trump's tariff pause, but small retailers are still suffering. Mac Kubincik, who owns a baseball goods company, said he voted for Trump but changed his party affiliation to Democrat after going through a vacation from hell that he voted for because Trump said that he was going to do this, and he still voted for this even though Trump said he was going to add tariffs to everything. When Matt Kubinchek, a small business owner in Louisville, Kentucky, cast his ballot for Donald Trump in November, he was hoping that the Republican nominee's return to the White House would provide a spark to the economy and lead to reduced prices for gas and groceries. Instead, the first half of Trump's second term in the White House has been more like a vacation from hell, Kubinchek said. Guardian Baseball, the baseball goods company he co-founded in 2018, mostly relies on manufacturers in China, which is locked in a full-blown trade war with the U.S. No, with Trump. The U.S. does not want this. Trump wants this. It didn't take long for Kubinchek to regret his vote. After 20 years as a Republican, Kubinchek changed his registration to Democrat last month. Good that does. What good does that do? Please explain. Because he did this. He tariffed America first term. And this man has been a Republican for 20 years. You know what? This is the reason why I don't have very much sympathy for these people. But anyways, I've been a registered lifelong Republican. I've supported independent candidates and Democratic candidates in the state of Kentucky before, but this made it enough to switch parties, Kubinchek said in an interview. I don't feel the country is headed down the right path. While the stock market has bounced back from a brutal start to the year, thanks largely to the Trump administration pausing its most extreme tariffs announced in April, small retailers that rely on imports to stay afloat are stuck in no man's land. Tariffs from China are still at a historically high rate of 30%, coming down at least temporarily from Trump's prior announcement of 145% after the two countries reached a 90-day truce on May 12th. The big concern is what happens when that 3-month agreement expires in August. Both countries have already accused each other of violating the preliminary trade agreement. Just recently, Trump was here giving a speech at Fort Bragg, and because this man is all about optics, there was a message that said, no fat soldiers. It was all about optics and appearance. So this is an article from military.com. It says, Bragg soldiers who cheered Trump's political attacks while in uniform were checked for allegiance and appearance. Let's look at this article real quick. It was supposed to be a routine appearance, a visit from the commander-in-chief to rally the troops, boost morale, and celebrate his butt fluffing tomorrow, which culminates with a Washington, D.C. parade that's set up for basically a dictator. Instead, what unfolded Tuesday at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, bore little resemblance to the customary visit from a president and defense secretary. There, Trump unleashed a speech laced with partisan invective, goading cheers from a crowd of soldiers positioned behind his podium, blurring the long-standing and sacrosanct line between the military and partisan politics. So he was there whipping them up. He was having them boo. He was having them cheer. But I did want to get to this part. It says military.com revealed a tightly orchestrated effort to curate the optics of Trump's recent visit, including handpicking soldiers for the audience based on political leanings and physical appearance. The troops ultimately selected to be behind Trump and visible to the cameras were almost exclusively male. One unit level message bluntly said, no fat soldiers. If soldiers have political views that are in opposition to the current administration and they don't want to be in the audience, then they need to speak with their leadership They need to speak with their leadership and get swapped out. That is what they said in a note. Imagine being a soldier fighting for this country, supposed to be taking an oath to the Constitution, and you have a commander in chief who is overweight himself talking about no fat soldiers. So, what do you think about this butt fluffing parade tomorrow? This is going to cost the American public millions of dollars. Taxpayers will be paying millions of dollars for this parade. But then, on top of that, you have red states that are basically crumbling at its core because of storms. I hope that they feel really terrible about what is going on. But y'all go ahead and chime in. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.